Hello, everyone. Welcome to another session of IndieX 2023. And I've been saying, I know it might sound like I'm repeating myself, that I've been kind of lucky with the games that and the conversations I've been having during this digital edition. And I'm saying this because it's another one of those cases where I've been following this game for quite a while. Since I first saw the first teasers for the Kickstarter campaign, and I'm so happy how the game turned out to be. And so it's with a huge pleasure that I'll be talking with John, one of the authors of Baladins, this amazing and beautiful game that, uh, John, thank you for being with us. Um,
Hello, thank you for inviting. I'm so happy to be there.
I was, I think it's indie studios that can prove to everyone that someone or there are people that fulfill the promises of their games in the video game industry, because it's so usual that you see some big promises, especially from AAAs, with teasers. But the fact is, now that we're reaching almost the release of Baladins, everything that I expected from the game, from your first images and the first teasers, well, it's not everything here. It's more than everything that I expected. So congratulations on
Oh,
Baladins.
okay, that's very kind of you to say that. And yeah, it's amazing. I was not expecting that. Like we're always afraid of are we delivering on the content? Are we doing what is necessary? So I'm super pleased to hear that. Yeah. But I think there's still some work to do, and we are not finished yet.
Well, it's for me, one of the biggest surprises was checking. It was you're a French studio, aren't you?
Hmm.
A French studio picking up a huge influence, at least for me, in terms of video games, which are the Paper Mario games, and reinventing them and creating its own universe. Um, how influential was for you Paper Mario and Nintendo RPGs in your growing up and also as creators?
Yeah, I think it has had a lot of impact on how we decided to create Baladins. We are in the team big fans of the Nintendo games in general. We've been growing with consoles at home. We've been playing on the GameCube and then the Wii and all of that. So I guess we've been growing with this, and Paper Mario was part of it. And it's definitely one of the influence on the graphic team of the studio. They have posters of Paper Mario in the studio as a reference. So yeah, I guess it translates in the game eventually.
I haven't played Baladins until the end. I will. And I have to, as a personal note, I have to tell you that you have, at least for me, some big expectations to fill, and I'll tell you why. Because I'm also a huge fan of Paper Mario, but the last few iterations, I haven't been as happy as I expected, and now I'm relying everything that I expected
Oh, no,
from a game like this on Baladins.
oh no, we can't absolutely stand the comparison with Nintendo game. It's impossible. They're absolutely tremendous designers, and I don't want to even to try competing.
Jean,
But we'll do the best.
how many people is in the team developing Baladins?
So we are 7 people in the studio here, and there are some people coming here and there to help us punctually. So I can say it's an average small team of indie game development.
And now, since everyone heard that the team mainly is composed by 7 people with a few contractors, now we're going to dive into the game for you to be amazed of what quality and such a small team get with Baladins. So let's see, Baladins. Let me just maybe something I didn't do, which is lower the sound just a bit.
And you can go into the debug menu and deactivate debug tools. We can use them later if we want to cheat, but at the moment.
No. Okay, so what do you want me to?
Um, Go back to the menu.
Oh,
and
Yeah.
there should be.
Oh, I saw it. Yeah.
Sorry.
We had sorry. Here.
No, in the main yeah,
Click.
settings and first tab,
Yes.
and I guess we have it.
You're just watching behind the curtains, everyone.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It doesn't matter. We can continue like that. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
We can show some tricks to the audience.
The God mode.
Exactly.
So Baladins, we are this sticker-like creatures, like or characters. Also reminded me like standees for a board game. Is that on the back of your mind when you decided to represent the protagonists and Baladins?
Totally. In the first iteration of the game, we were thinking this has to be a moment that we gather people for an hour or two, that you will share a moment together. And basically, it's much on the format of board games that you would gather around the table, except there's no table, it's just virtual. And then all the codes of the board game where we brainstormed around it and we found graphic ways of showing this. And definitely the standees way of representing characters and tools on the board. It came up, like we tried different things, 3D and so, but this was our most loved option.
Also, something funny with taking that in regard. And are you guys board gamers too?
Definitely, we played a lot. I can say we have way too much space taken at home by a board game, so yeah.
You know how I felt you obviously a passion for board games, because I think everyone noticed when we start playing that we had the possibility of adding characters to the game. So the idea is to sit next to our friends and each one will control a character and going on this adventure cooperatively. Is that important for you, creating this kind of experience that we can share with other people?
Mm-hmm. Definitely, for us, games are it's a tool to gather people. Like it's a moment that we can spend together. It's an activity. Like in Baladin, there are many moments that you can just pause, discuss, debate around what's happening. There's no time pressure because we wanted to leave the time to discuss around the experience and have a chat, and just at some point you can, like, I don't know, start talking about your day or whatever, and then come back into the story. Yeah, that was important for us. The cooperation part, it's more than cooperation, it's just like being there together. That's important for us.
Something that everyone, obviously you must get lots of compliments about, it's the art direction. This is, you were saying it's difficult for you, or you wouldn't want to be compared with a company as big as and as influential as Nintendo. But when you look at this, it's really hard not to be surprised of what you achieved. Like, I think this is, the quality reminds us of Link's Awakening, the remake, that kind of round and really beautiful, with a good depth of field. And you have a team of 7 people, so yeah.
That's a huge compliment for the graphists, and definitely they will be happy to hear that. But we're doing our best, but it's nowhere close. But yeah, there has been some work around the figurines and the decoration, that they look kind of like toys in a way. Like the shapes are exaggerated on what's important, and the proportion are not, the scales are not right. They feel like a town, which would be a toy town, toy city. So definitely, it's been intentional playing around this aesthetics, and yeah, I love what they have achieved. Definitely, I'm not graphics myself, so I would love to have the skill.
If I recall, playing it, I think you submitted the game last year, and for example, the characters, the idle animations, or even other animations that these 2D characters have, uh, it's something that you've grown a lot in the last at least 12 months, didn't it? Like more animations, everything looks more dynamic.
Hmm. So we have plenty of characters in the game. There is something like more than 90 characters that you can meet. So
Ooh.
it's so difficult to animate everything. So we had to find middle ground solutions, and we are trying still to have some animations that would convey some character, some emotions. So we tried to have the give personality to each character a little bit. So there are some small animation playing here and there, and yeah, we've worked a lot on last month on this, and we're quite happy. Like some characters are taking a new depth after adding the animation, so it's so fun.
I don't know if I can ask this. Was how much of a fans are your artists of Adventure Time?
Big fans.
Yeah.
It's like number one reference or two. Yeah, definitely it was part of it. And I can say maybe not just Adventure Time, but like extended to Cartoon Network.
Yeah, Steven Universe and
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Also Over the Garden Wall and things like that. Yeah, it played a lot.
Do you think that if you like, obviously we've noticed that on social network that people have been having a really good response to Baladins. They've been sharing the trailer. They've been commenting. People are really excited to play this. Do you feel that this really cohesive and strong art direction is one of the main secrets behind how well Baladins is being expected?
Too much pressure. But yeah, I guess the colors are so attractive, eye-catching, and I think it's part of it. Like you look at one image passing, and you immediately it's triggering curiosity, and then I don't know if the game is going to um, keep people interested, but I hope so. Definitely. Well, it must be a part of it. We love to make colorful games. Like I don't know, it brings us joy, and we hope it's going to bring joy to people. So yeah, a lot of yellow, bright colors. It's instantly a lot of fun.
So, how linear is the gameplay? Like, we have this cooperative possibility and lots of characters to play with,
Hmm.
and we have decisions to make. Are there different paths in the game?
Totally. So in Baladins, you will go through a lot of events, and you will eventually encounter a big dragon. And this dragon is going to ask you to solve some quests and bring items to them so that you can finish the game, basically. It's going to happen later in the game. Um, but there's no one path to fulfill the dragon. Like, you can basically explore the whole map of the game. There are many regions, not many, but there are several regions. This is what you're looking at the moment is one region. On one region, there are some 5 to 10 locations that you can visit with different characters and everything. And basically, there are quests that you can solve, and each quest has several endings. And we're talking about like really different endings. Some endings are sometimes just a slight variation, and sometimes it's like radically different variation. You can totally make something different. And so each playthrough that you make, each playthrough can feel completely different if you decide so. So what you do has an impact on how different the game, the playthrough is going to be. But it's not just that. There are some randomness as well. Like the quests are always the same, but there are a lot of random events happening in the game, and from one playthrough to another, it's going to be different. So we expect that each group of people, each person experiencing Baladins, will somehow go through the same type of events, but it's going to have to unfold differently for everyone. So at least that's what we are trying to achieve.
Since obviously we also feel a huge influence of pen and paper RPGs here. Do you think this kind of experience, more light experience, more familiar experience, could be in a way? Do you expect someone to play Baladins, someone that never played a pen and paper RPG and got so interested on how this is working? Because we also have a narrator, like a dungeon master, that could be curious to try pen and paper RPG after playing Baladins.
The writer of the game, Antonin, is fan of tabletop RPG, pen and paper RPG, and he's also writing some universe for games that he's organizing and all of that. And that was an inspiration. Like, how can we have some form of control on what's happening, on the how the events are unfolding? And we felt, I mean, we're trying something as a studio. We are thinking like, can we bring this experience to a new audience? Could we make it more accessible, more simple? It's definitely like, we can't have the same freedom that we have in a usual tabletop RPG.
Yeah.
But still, we're trying to give some form of decision-making options to the players and give some breadth of possibilities. So yeah, it was playing a big role in the design decision in the game.
Because even for unexperienced or even younger audiences that could play Baladins, all the ingredients are here, like the dice roll, the narrator explaining to you what's happening and what you want to do, and testing your decisions. So yeah, I think there's almost, which is ironic because video games, or the inception of video games, came from the tabletop and pen and paper RPGs of some video games in the 70s. But now video games are far more ubiquitous than pen and paper RPG. So seeing the other way around, it would be really, really cool, because there are more adult classical RPGs, but something that could show to a child or a teenager what RPGs are. I think Baladins really fits into that that space.
I hope so. I think it's very interesting to bring this creativity in the way you're solving problems in video games, because by essence, video games is like there's a computer calculating what you're doing, and you have one solution, you have one way of solving the problems. So finding ways to give creativity again is something we like to have. We had this in the first game we made as a studio, and we try to reproduce it here in a different way. So, and also, yeah, it's so cool, so fun to have loops of inspiration from board games to video games to video games to board game and so on. I think it's so nice to see that. Yeah, we are happy to participate in it.
You're saying the writer of the game is creating a universe, and let me already ask you, because I think it would be the natural solution. Could we expect like a manual for a tabletop RPG in the universe of Baladins, or even a board game adaptation?
Yes and yes. We can expect, at least we do. No, I can't promise anything at the moment, but
yeah.
Something that we promised and will do is we are going to make a one-page tabletop RPG on the theme of Baladin. And we are going to send this publicly to all the backers of the Kickstarter that we ran last year. So it's going to be a small adventure with very simple rules. But can we extend on that? Maybe. We'd like to, but we'll see if we have a capacity, possibility. We don't lack of inspiration, that's for sure. We have many ideas.
We have Weatherlight asking if you can explain or tell us where the names come from. Are you saying the characters, maybe? The characters, maybe? What's the inspiration? Obviously, Sophaline, I believe, would be inspired by Marceline. Yes, kinda.
I don't know for Marceline, and I don't have all the backstories of every name that we have here, but
She was actually asking for the title. I think it's a mix of ballad and paladin, isn't it?
completely. A
Yeah,
ballad
it's
is some kind of epic tale or just
yeah.
walking in the nature, and Paladins is carrying all these feels of heroic fantasy, solving problems, fighting a dragon. So we're in between. It's more we are just random troublemakers and artists going around and wandering in some villages and trying to solve things, and it's in between. So we found this name quite suiting, and it's really fun to say Baladins. We
It
get used
is.
to it very quick.
It
So
is. And I imagine how many people actually correct you.
yeah, some people do. But it's quite fun. So it's always a good opportunity to explain a bit more about the game, what's happening in the game. Love that.
Yeah, for whoever is watching, so what happens now? It's I'm asking Philomena to drink the geyser because she's a really heavy drinker. It's a really strange solution for the problem, really amazing solution. So I'm trying to beat her in a drinking contest, but since I have the Luxomancer, my physique wasn't as high, but now I'm actually improving by doing this challenge with her, and I'll try. It's since it's my last action point for this day. I'll try to finally win, and yeah, forget it.
Not enough.
Yeah, but you know, even this solution, like imagine, like I played lots of pen and paper RPGs. I think I would never think of asking a heavy drinker to drink a geyser that is stopping my way. It's really creative and fun, and this is really something I like in the game is how light-hearted it is. You know.
And this is something I love so much also in this game is like I'm testing a lot the game, and I'm actually laughing a lot when testing because it's full of many small jokes here and there and many very small quirky situation that you would not expect, and it's so full of it that even I haven't seen all the content of the game. There are many small branches that you can explore, and sometimes I'm still playing and discovering new jokes, and I'm like, oh, really? And it's so fun. So yeah, I guess this is what makes me the most happy about the game at the moment. It's like all the small, really funny jokes.
And even though you're in the team, you're still finding this surprise and Easter eggs and jokes that you haven't noticed yet.
Yeah. Antona is writing a lot, and as I said, almost every quest or event you can solve in different ways.
Okay.
So even when we are testing extendedly, like it's almost impossible to go through everything with a completely exhaustive manner. So except if I'm trying to do it very intentionally, but generally I'm just going through the game and testing this and that, and sometimes I just end up on something new, and it's like, oh, that's I've never seen that, and I love it. So, yeah, it's always full of surprise.
What's your role in the team? I think I didn't ask you.
I'm helping the whole team with everything that's boring, like paperwork, marketing, communications, and so. That's interesting.
So you with that, your reward is in a way being still having the window to get surprised with what with the writers and the artists put into the game.
Well, it's still a small team, so even though I'm not in the creative team, like I'm playing the game a lot and doing some feedbacks, testing, and so. So that's definitely the pleasure of indie teams. It's even though you're not directly in the production, like you're part of the whole process in the meeting, debates, like seeing all the characters created, animations coming in, and so. Yeah, it's definitely that's the most fun part of the game creation, I could say.
Since you're a small team, I don't know how close you guys are, but since you show this passion for board games and pen and paper RPGs, Do you still find the time to meet with each other in your free time and play some RPGs or board games?
Board games, yes. RPGs, like big ones, we start being adults and lacking of time sometimes to play the big ones. But we are playing a lot together. Like on the lunch breaks, we generally launch almost every small indie game that's releasing. We are trying so many games, like almost every day a new one, and we're playing a lot together. Yeah, as much as we can, and board games also. Yeah, sometimes.
Out of curiosity, what have you guys been playing in board games?
In board games, recently we played a Kickstarter board game called Pangaya, and you're
Oh,
just stacking little pine trees on top of each other. That was pretty fun. And we play a lot also a game called Santorini.
yeah. Did you guys pledge for the new version with the cooperative mode?
No, I haven't seen that. I
Yeah,
would love to.
it was recently. Like now, Santorini will be like this book. You'll have like a campaign. You'll have similar mechanics, but instead of just the board, you'll play in this book, this really big book. It's coming out next year.
Wow, that's definitely. I'm going to check that because we played a lot this game. It's like really smart in the design and everything. So
Yeah.
I would love to.
Last time I
So
played Santorini was actually in the last month, the wedding of one of the team members at IndieX, because he had this area for board games. So me and my older son just sat there, and we've been playing Santorini.
I love it. Yeah. So I'm going to check that definitely. You just have a walk in the dragon.
Yeah.
Did you bring some items? Yeah.
Yeah, I had. I think it was a lemonade. So when we're playing as a party, the idea is for us to, since we have the days are passing by, the idea is for us to more or less divide or spread the work among us, isn't it? Like you go pick ale or wine or something, and I go here, you go there. That's more or less the idea, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. We took a lot of inspiration from two other games that are kind of storytellers in multiplayer. These games are The Yog and Monster Prom, which we love.
Cool, Monster Prom. What's the first one you said? Sorry.
The Yog. It's almost impossible to write for me. It's YAWHG, something like that. But the three last letter, I'm always getting it wrong. But it's a lovely game, small indie games, released a long while ago. And it's storytelling, and you can play with 4 people, up to 4 people. And we really loved this way of following a story together, kind of. We like this setup in a way. But we wanted to build on it. Like, can we have this small setup of living a story together, but also we can be having a bit more agency as a person, and can we add also some cooperative actions? So in Baladins, we added some gameplay mechanics that allow you to give items, exchange items, and also you can call your friend. And if you're several on one token and there's an event happening, a challenge happening, you're just adding stats together to meet with the challenge. So it's basically like teaming up together to face a challenge. For example, it can be like 3 of us could be trying to drink this beer cask, and we would be adding our physics attributes, and that would allow us to face the challenge in a better situation. Oh, you just joined the new region.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is a form of cooperation there. Still, we're playing turn by turn. The reason for that is because we want people to have a way to experience the story overall, and what the other people are doing is also interesting to everyone. So basically, here you're meeting with the baker, and if I'm missing on that, I will miss a part of the game. It's not a big deal if I'm missing a bit, but if I'm missing too much, like if I'm having only my part of the story, I will miss a lot. So you're always reading what the others are doing, and then when it's your turn, you're playing, and you have your agency on what you're doing. You can decide where you go, what you're doing, and you can play more individual or more cooperative. It's your own choice. But eventually, you will have tools to really play in cooperation. Like you can, as I said, you can teleport your friend to you. You can ask for items, so you can spread over the whole map. Try solving quests here and there, and then exchange items. So you're being better or faster, optimizing turns. But you could also like stick together and being super efficient on each challenge because you're adding stats, and that would be also a valid way of playing. Different ways are possible.
I was checking on the main menu. It said online friends, I guess, or something similar. Do you like, for example, you mentioned Monster Prom? Will we have the possibility in Baladins to use remote play, for example, or each player has to have their own copy of the game?
Probably that we will not allow the remote play together. The reason for that is that it's going to create technical problems at the moment. We are having technical issues with that. There is a local mode. You can play up to 4 people on your own computer, and otherwise there is online. This is at the moment the situation. If eventually we can find a workaround, maybe it's going to be possible, but not at the moment.
Are you thinking of bringing Baladins to other platforms?
Yes, it's going to come to consoles, but we can't tell yet. It's a secret.
Okay. I was also thinking, especially with how you control the game, because we can use the controller, but we can also use. Now I'm playing with my mouse and keyboard, but actually mainly with my mouse because the game allows me to do that. Did you think of bringing the game, for example, for Apple Arcade or iOS and Android?
It could be. It's not in the plans at the moment. At least it's not decided yet. But definitely, we would love to. We think it would work as well. Just it will require more work and physical. But we don't know.
Another curiosity I have is we continue the story after the end of the week. So you allowed me to change a different character than the one I was using. What was the thought process behind that? Do you want to make the gameplay more dynamic for us? What's the idea?
What we had in mind is in the same way you would organize a session of tabletop RPG. It's like you're gathering but you have a limited time. Like you can't play 5 hours in a row. So maybe you will just invite friends and have one game together. And the next time you will invite friends, but maybe these are going to be different friends. Like there is a new person coming or another one is leaving. So we wanted you to be able to rearrange your team each time. Also, you can experience different way of playing because each character has slight different abilities. Also, it's unfolding different path at some points, different options. So you can change. But if you're having continuity from one run to another, you will be able to carry over some items, and it will allow you to build up on what you have done before. You're losing your statistics, your bonus advantages, but you will keep some items with you. So it's very advantageous in some places. For example, you can keep a quest item and go directly to the quest and solve it, and then you're in advance for the next run. Or you can just keep something that's very strong and it gives you a lot of stats, and then you can continue with this stat bonus. So everything's possible, and you just decide what you do. And it's creating sometimes very complex and unexpected situation because it's a time loop, and time loop, it's always messy. it's getting messy.
For how long have you been developing Baladins?
I guess it's going to be 2 years now.
But we're
Which
close
is-
to release date, or
Yeah, it's going to be early 2024. We don't have a precise day yet, but it's going to be in spring. That's what's planned at the moment. If everything goes well, we're on track at the moment, so I think it's going to be okay.
I think this is that kind of game that giving me the possibility, like an RPG that gives me a possibility of local co-op is something that I can't recall if there are too many examples of this. When you did your research, did you remember? Or do you feel this is one of the biggest selling points for Baladins, having this kind of experience, but also in local co-op?
Yeah, and to be honest, at the beginning, we were planning on not having it because we started the game planning for the game to be online. We were sure we wanted it to be online because we went through the pandemics. We know people love to gather on Discord or whatever and play together. We've been doing that a lot. And so we were sure, like, okay, it has to be online, but online is already quite difficult to make as a game developer, and it was new for us. So we knew this was a challenge already. And doing the local mode was a second challenge. Like, there are many things that do not translate well between online and local, and there's a lot of design questions. So at first we were planning to have just online only, but when doing the Kickstarter campaign, like almost everyone was asking, like, is there going to be a local mode? And we are also console player, and we love local mode, and we love playing with the friends. So we said, okay, we have to find a way. And eventually, thanks to the publisher that we are working with, we found a way to have the local mode existing. And so, yeah, we have been local and online, and that's a challenge, and we're very happy that it happened and it's going to exist.
But along the way, do you feel were there some ideas or some mechanical changes you had to do so that the gameplay worked both in single, co-op, local, or online?
Yes. This is behind the scenes, but it might not be obvious to anyone, but every time you're adding something in the game, like a new dimension, it's adding a ton of work. So when the game is just playing online, it's one thing. When it's playing just multiplayer, is one thing. But if it's also played solo, then suddenly there's something like it's not, and it has to be balanced for 4 people, 3 people, 2 people, and solo. And this is really different. And also it has to be working for local mode and online mode, which are having a lot of subtle difference, but it makes a lot of difference. So we had to change some ideas. At first, we wanted to have some asymmetric features, like in a way that keep talking, nobody explode was working. Like some people see some stuff, the other not. And then we had to change everything so that all the features, cooperative features, has to be accessible for everyone on the same screen, so it can work on local as well. So yeah, for the designer it was a challenge, and they worked on it, and they found some workarounds, and eventually we're quite happy how it turned out. Yeah.
Do you feel, for example, or was part of your idea, or you felt there was a bit of a downtime if one player, if I couldn't see what the other player was doing, maybe I would be waiting for them to end their turn while I was seeing anything? Did you feel it was downtime in a way? Mm-hmm.
You mean that downtime? I mean, it would be a time that's not well used, or I'm sorry.
Yeah. Like since it's a multiplayer game, if we had that kind of asymmetry, I could have finished everything I could do, and then I will just be waiting for other player to do everything they can. But if I couldn't see it, it could feel as downtime.
Yeah. definitely it could be. I can't. To be honest, there are some very good jokes that we were having, and I miss on them. But it will be for the second game when we continue and we can implement more stuff. No, but yes, it was having different game dynamics for sure, and there were some good part, bad part, but we had to make choices.
And you were saying this isn't the first game the team has developed, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. As a studio, this is our second game. We've been working on another game called Pile Up, and it was already a cooperative game, platformer in the Mario style, and it was a platformer that you can solve with creativity. There are puzzles, but puzzles are solved in many ways, different. Like you're building blocks in front of your way so that you can pass, and so it was really fun also. And it's released on PC and most consoles.
I actually bought your game and played with my older son.
Oh, cool. We were thinking for the first game that maybe it could be played by parents with their kids.
It is. It's a fact.
Okay, so that's very touching. Very happy to hear that.
And one can say that for your team, the importance of playing with other people and sharing the experience is something really important, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. And we are trying to give emphasis to features that allow to everyone to play. I was talking about the fact that there is no time pressure, that you can take breaks. So Baladin is definitely going to be accessible more to adults because you have to read a lot. But even for the reading part, like we tried really, really hard to break down all the lines to be quite small. There is never more than 2 sentences on the same bubble. The text is limited to the minimum possible. There's a lot of work so that it's not a hustle. There's not a big block of text that you have to read through. The mechanics has to be quite easily understandable. You can play only with your mouse. So there is a lot of things like that that we're trying to keep in the game so that it keeps the game easy to play. Yeah, that's part of us, of our identity as a studio, I guess.
How many languages is Baladins going to be released in?
For the moment, 3. It's going to be maybe more later, but at the moment it's translated to English, French, and Japanese.
Oh, Japanese, really? What was the decision behind that huge jump, I would say, between... do you think, or do you feel, or do you have data that this would be a good game to translate into the Japanese market?
I personally don't have the data, but we discussed with the publisher and we were thinking it's a good idea. Probably there are many people interested there. And as it's a game that you need to read through a lot, and we know that the audience in Japan is not very well versed in English generally, so it was a good way to access to this audience. And the game was presented in Tokyo Game Show last month, and there was a lot of good feedback, and it was really nice to see people playing the game. So we hope it's a good choice. But really, we are truly hoping that it can go to new languages, and as soon as we have what it takes to make new language translation in the game, we will try to do it. But there's a lot of words. It takes time and energy and funds to have a full translation of such a game. So yeah, we're doing our best.
Almost looked like this was scripted, because we're coming to an end on our streaming session, and exactly what you were explaining in terms of loop, it's now what we're seeing. So we finished the week, and we got an event with a dragon, and now we have the possibility of either saving one item, isn't it, or giving one item to the dragon so that we try to fill this god he has, or it has. We can save one, isn't it?
You can save one, per character
Okay.
playing. So if you're playing multiplayer, you will save more, but you're also going to bring more items in there. And you're giving all the rest back to the dragon. And when you're giving items to the dragon, the George is going to progress, and eventually, when you're reaching some points, the dragon is going to evolve and give you more information on more storytelling and explain more on what's happening. So that's your target as a player from loop to loop. So what we wanted to have is basically you can play one playthrough and you feel like you've been through some narrative arcs, you finish some small quests, some longer quests, some stuff happened. Eventually, you collected some items. You give to the dragon. Dragon says, "Acknowledge, like, good job, you've done something, but maybe it's not enough." And then you can have a broader campaign that you are replaying the loops until you fulfill the dragon's quest. And that's a longer challenge. It takes more run. And eventually, if you fulfill that, you will have the main story unfolding, the larger view of the story happening there. So yeah, different levels. You can play small session or you can play on the long run.
So one last question. We're seeing this profile progression screen, and we have this information that good quest endings explored 0 of 15, bad quest endings explored 0 of 18. Are these many options available, or at least in the final version? Is this what we can look for?
That's directly live update, so that's what's in the game at the moment. And if we are adding more, it's going to directly upgrade or update to more endings. Yeah. So
That's
that's what's possible at the moment. Yeah.
that's really impressive. Really impressive. So no game over state. So we can continuously playing until we fulfill
Yeah.
Colobra's hunger.
Mm-hmm.
And is it possible for us to keep on playing and try to fulfill all the good quest endings or bad quest endings, or are we supposed to restart the loop?
You have to restart the loop, but from so your save is attributed to one campaign. So from one loop to the other, you're going to build up on everything you uh, unlocked and discovered. So you can fulfill all the quests and all the good endings and everything in one save, or so in one campaign. Uh, and if you want to restart a new campaign with a new group of friends or by yourself alone, then it's possible, and everything is going to be erased, and you have to start from scratch.
Jean, it was really good to get also behind the scenes of Baladins, which is a game it's been under my radar for quite a while, and I'm really happy that for us to have the possibility of having Baladins as part of IndieX 2023. I'd like to wish you the best for you and for the team. I believe the game will certainly do really well. It's a really fun game. Not trying to pry into your marketing team's talent, but I also think because I play a lot as a family, and this is one of the best games I've seen to as a gateway for RPGs for younger audiences. So yeah, I think there's something to explore there. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. That's very touching, and I hope we can fulfill all the expectations.
And we'll see each other at least in November, isn't it? So I don't know
Yeah,
if it's
definitely, we'll be
your
there.
yeah. Thanks a lot, John, for this amazing hour. And please, if you haven't done so, I know I've been really um, here in the conversation with John, but don't forget we've been having Sir Becca's pasting it on chat. Go to Baladin's Steam page, wishlist it, and buy it as soon as possible because it's really an amazing and beautiful game. Thank you, John. Thank you.
Thank you a lot.
And please stay tuned. We're going to return in 10 minutes for another IndieX session with also, I think it wasn't on purpose, but a really beautiful and familiar game that is the perfect segue for Baladins. It will be a tiny sticker tale. So stay tuned. We'll return in a few minutes. Thank you.